Do you guys remember last week's? I mean, it's been a week or two. I don't even know. 2 weeks ago, that Sky News softball interview Trevor Phillips conducted with Sophie Chandauka. Guess what? It's coming back to bite them both. You heard me. It's coming back to bite them both. I kid you not. Because Trevor Phillips is now making veiled threats against Prince Harry to get him to withdraw. And personally, I think that is so stupid. I remember there's a discourse about this entire interview on social media. Netizens had a lot to say, and they felt like he went so easy on Sophie Chandauka. He was not asking the right questions. It was just like, it was really softball, like easy. He went easy, and that was inappropriate for our journalists. But now we find out that they are actually friends. I mean, we've been finding out they were friends, but now they've been friends. Trevor actually acknowledged that they've been friends for a while now. And now, personally, I think there should be harsh, broader criticism of Trevor Phillips and his handling of the entire interview, because he failed to disclose his connection to Sophie Chandauka. And now we understand why he went easy on her. And just when you think like, okay, I'm done, this Sophie Chandauka story is going to... No, you wake up, I'm doing research to see what's going on, what's happening, to keep you guys updated, and pop, it's Sir Trevor who wrote an article for The Sun making a threatening Prince Harry to not go against Sophie Chandauka. And I'm like, oh my god, this woman has so many layers. She's an onion, you keep peeling, and there's just so more to uncover. And I was like, okay, now back. Here we are, Sophie Chandauka. So Sir Trevor wrote for The Suns, and I'm just going to read what he said, because it's hilarious at the same time, and it's like, you're going to be like, what the hell? Wait, what? You mean this is a journalist who's writing? Yeah, it's so unprofessional, because, and this is why I keep telling you guys, there's no fair, these days, journalism, many journalists, they always pick a side. There's no like fairness. It's like you have to be neutral even when you're reporting on things. You don't pick a side. But clearly, this Sir Trevor, this is just inappropriate, honestly. So let me just read, and then we can break it down. We can break it down together, right? So noisy clash hearts cause by Trevor Phillips. In Africa, they say that when two elephants fight, it's the grass that hurts. The noisy clash between Prince Harry and Sophie Chandauka, the woman he himself brought in to lead his African charity Sentebale, threatens to bring a world of pain to the thousands of young Africans who depend on its support and services. Millions have lost children, parents, brothers and sisters in the HIV/AIDS epidemic and still ravages Southern Africa. The war inside Sentebale will have added public scandal to personal tragedy. 2 weeks ago, the prince announced that he was resigning as a patron of his own charity, citing deep differences with Chandauka. Last Sunday, she replied with a fiery interview on my Sky News show, accusing the prince himself of harassing and bullying her and others who worked for the charity. 3 days ago, the Charity Commission announced an investigation into the organization, plunging it into further uncertainty. There's no doubt that both Harry and Sophie are deeply committed to the cause. They just have diametrically million. Chandauka joined the board in the charity's early years. Back then, the Zimbabwean-born corporate lawyer helped to build the reputation and funding through her network of African contacts. Sentebale flourished. She stepped down in 2015, believing that the work was in good hands. Thereafter, as a wise woman once said, recollections vary. Harry's supporters claim that in 2023, Chandauka elbowed her way back into the no longer royal circle and then proceeded to wreck the organization's finances. She says that she was brought back by Harry's team to help arrest the drain of donor funds caused by the prince's split from the royal family. Speaking for the first time publicly last week, Chandauka made 3 damaging allegations. First, that Harry threatened the charity as his own personal fiefdom run by his courtiers, and that he saw himself as above the rules that normally govern UK charities. Second, that he agreed in theory to move the running of Sentebale affairs to Southern Africa, where its activities take place. But when confronted with the consequence that he Sorry, this article is just sorry. Wait. Yeah, sorry. So she says that she was brought back by Harry's team to help arrest the drain of donor funds caused by the princess split from the royal family. Speaking for the first time publicly last week, Chandauka made three damaging allegations. First, that Harry threatened the charity as his own personal fiefdom run by his courtiers, and that he saw himself as above the rules that normally govern UK charities. Second, that he agreed in theory to move the running of sentebale affairs to Southern Africa, where its activities take place, but that when confronted with the consequence that he would no longer be able to exercise day-to-day control, he balked. And finally, the most damaging of all was the suggestion that the Sussex used sentebale as a prop in the film deal with Netflix. The Duke and his team deny all three allegations and insist that any fault lies entirely with the chair, complaining that she spent money unnecessarily on expensive consultants. Who do I believe is right here? There's no doubt that the prince has a deep affection for sentebales' work, and that without his presence, it will never have grown to become the multi-million-pound outfit it is, with hundreds of employees doing great work. But I have known and worked with Chandauka for several years. That is the part that gets me. I can vouch for her integrity, and her commitment can hardly be questioned. Her own family is sentebales' third largest donor. And whilst the Duke will no doubt have had advanced weapons training in his army career, I would strongly have advised against hand-to-hand combat with her. My guess is that what has happened is that the Duke brought in the high-flying lawyer in the hope of strengthening its governance and raising more American money. Harry understandably wanted to grow sentebale to maturity, but running a not-for-profit with hundreds of employees, spending money from major corporation demands a different kind of leadership to a small startup. And like many in his class, he may have forgotten that the rules governing a charity have to apply to him too. For the sake of those still suffering from the HIV/AIDS epidemic, the rest of us can only hope that the wearing parties reflect on yet another African proverb which urges them to come together and talk. In times of crisis, the wise build bridge and the foolish build dams. That is Dr. Trevor, guys. Like, listen, but that first and foremost, Sir Trevor, Harry is a patron and not a trustee, and not subject to the Charity Commission's investigation. Sophie is being investigated as chair and trustee. So Philip is just trying to save his and Chandauka's reputations because what has surfaced in the press, because of what has surfaced in the press, guys. Because for starters, Sophie claimed an injection was ordered, but no record in the High Court. Sophie claimed she objected to Netflix, at the Polo, and praising its involvement on camera. These and other statements is why Phillips is doing cleanup on aisle 4. He's like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? And now he is advising Harry to what? Not sue and not to go hand. He clearly says Harry should not go hand-to-hand combat. Well, guess what? Sophie should not have started, because when Harry sinks his teeth into you, he will only let you go when you wave that white flag, much like Murdoch did. She's about to find out. Harry does not play with things he's passionate about, and it's crazy to me. And one thing I also want to, listen, and this is my opinion, take it with a grain of salt. Sky News should never have allowed him to interview a close friend who's at the center of public and legal dispute over charity, finances, and governments. That is highly unethical and doesn't meet professional or moral standards. And that's why you're seeing Sir Phillips trying to do cleanups. So you're making threats. You're threatening Harry to withdraw as who again? And now you actually was wrong. That was really just wrong for you to conduct an interview. And you failed to disclose that this person is your close friend. And now you're like, oh, I know Harry has sentebales' best interest at heart, blah, 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 blah. Trust me, Harry, I know this woman. I can vouch for her integrity. As who? Vouch for her integrity, Sophie? After there's so many inconsistencies in her story, for crying out loud. There's so many inconsistencies when it comes to her stories. You took $400,000 to bring in consultants. These sole consultants turn out to be people who are closely related to you, or they're either family of you worked with for a long time. You even have Ian Rollins and Williams henchman. And mind you, despite you blowing $400,000, these people still could not come up with, fundraising ideas or sponsors. And that is crazy. And you took this 400,000 without the board's approval. And Sir Trevor, you're talking about integrity? Integrity? Oh, you're about to find out that Harry's the one to be messed with. I'm sure his lawyers right now are just, looking at all the evidence. You just don't do that, honestly. You don't do that. Sophie started this and she's about to find out because Harry's not going to be down with her. And so many people step down. I don't know why it's always Prince Harry. Even with Sir Trevor, we have Prince Cecil. You forget that he's also a patron of this sentebale charity. It's not only Harry that stepped down. You also have the trustees who stepped down because of Sophie Chandauka's leadership. It was bad. And also, you could have asked the right question, like, what happened to the $400,000 that you took? Why did you not ask the board for it? Why did you take the money without the approval? Those are the questions you should have asked. Why are you fighting for a charity that's not yours when this, you're not paid for this position? Why did you demand a salary of $300,000 when this position is supposed to be a volunteer position? And these are the questions I personally think he should have asked. But now that we know he is friends with her, close friends with her, now that makes sense. And that's no wonder she ran to Sky News, because she knew Trevor's going to be, soft on her. And that is wrong. That's unethical, Trevor. And you have no right to make threats when it comes to Harry. That he should not go against, and while Harry has, experience in combat, he's not advising Harry to go against Sophie Chandauka. Oh no. If Harry can take down Maddock, who's his Sophie? Who is Sophie Chandauka? Clearly. So I wanted you guys to know that article. I wanted to give you guys an update because this woman has so many layers. Just when I think I'm done with her, something else pops up, guys. I don't do it intentionally. Something pops up and I get mad. And I'm like, oh hell no, we're not about to let you do this. We're not about to let you do this. So as always, I'm Miraj. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching Trend Talks. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and to share this video. And I will see you with more exclusive news and updates in my next video.